Killer kids reacting to death sentences. Number 5. Philip Chisholm. A horrifying incident occurred involving the school's 14-year-old ninth-grade pupil, Philip Chisholm, and his 24-year-old math teacher, Colleen Ritzer. Because of Colleen Richter's reputation for being a dedicated mother, Chisholm accepted her invitation to stay after school for extra lessons that day. But since some teens would sooner accept candy or smoke pot than miss class, this kind gesture took a nasty turn. Chisholm brought a knife, an extra set of clothes, and gloves to school. He killed Colleen by following her into the bathroom. It wasn't the end of his abuse. After wards disposed of Chisholm's body, she was robbed, beaten, and tortured. Chisholm hid his activities by disposing of the body in a garbage bin and transporting it beyond the school. But surprisingly, his demeanor in court covered them up. Using Colleen's credit card, Chisholm went into town and purchased a movie ticket. However, the next morning, the police discovered him and arrested him, still with Colleen's blood on his hands. Chisholm was charged with multiple offenses, including armed robbery and aggravated murder. Number 4. Brothers Fucci. On a bright day in 2021, a 16-year-old Floridian was accused of killing his classmate Tristan Bailey in the first degree. Fucci decided to engage in some fairly strange outdoor activities when he was 14 years old. In the St. Johns County, Florida, woods, he attempted to stab Tristan more than 100 times before getting caught. You should witness Fucci's startling actions if you feel his offenses were abhorrent. Tristan Bailey was a lively and content youngster, and her sudden passing has left her friends and family in excruciating pain. Throughout the trial, the judge conveyed his sympathy to the bereaved family and noted that no punishment could ever fully put an end to such a tragedy. A few of you said in court that you felt a piece of yourselves die the moment you learned of her death. I would suggest that you use her life and spirit, which surely live on through every one of you, to fill that vacuum. Fui was granted an appeal, but in the end, he received a life term in prison. Given that the murder cannot precisely be excused as a mistake in judgment, the judge was unable to hide his skepticism regarding Fui's prospects of rehabilitation. There was no obvious motive for the stabbing. It was not driven by retaliation, greed, or any other frequent reasons why violent crimes occur. It was a rare and shocking St. Johns County case, according to the judge. The essence of the crime, according to this court, was unusual and distinct rather than youthful or impetuous. Fucci remained still as the judge read the punishment and showed no remorse. I've sentenced you to life in prison. The man from Port St. Lucie is incarcerated at the moment for using a hammer to kill his parents in 2011 and throwing a party while their remains were still inside the home. Number 3. Jeremiah King. After King and his 5 friends got stoned and began committing crimes, such as breaking into vehicles and houses, Stephen Gray confronted them in his garage. In 2015, King was 16 years old when Stephen G. Key was killed in his driveway. The fact that King pulled the gun that finally killed G is what is truly startling about his behavior during the judicial process, not the crime itself. King and his friends were seen smiling and showing no remorse for their actions in court. King's mother told the judge that her son was a good and kind young man, even though he made a mistake. You have no idea how much Jeremiah stole from so many people. Things don't get much worse than that, despite his mother's pleading for forgiveness. Jeremiah is a morally upright person. Given the situation, I realize it may be hard to believe, but it is the truth. Jeremiah King was given a 25-year prison term. G's sadness. Vinny had been hoping for a life sentence. Number 2. Martise Fuller. At the age of 15, Martise Fuller broke into his ex-girlfriend's Cosha County, Wisconsin house while carrying a firearm. Fuller was then charged with murder. She was peacefully listening to music in her bedroom when he shot her to death. After hearing gunfire, her mother courageously went up to Fuller, who then shot her as well. She was lucky to survive, but Fuller did some disgusting things. You will be dumbfounded by his actions in court during the entire trial. Fuller showed little emotion and maintained his innocence of the charges. The jury rejected his plea, and he was convicted guilty on 3 counts, including first-degree intentional homicide, despite his plea. Despite the severity of his punishment, Fuller was given a life sentence without the possibility of release. "I still apologize, but I have to continue to stand innocent because I am the judge," Fuller stated. "I don't have any ability to trust that you will never commit these acts. You are a very dangerous and damaged human being." You would be horrified to see this footage of persons who slaughtered their family members responding to death or life sentences if you thought these emotions were breathtaking. The gravity of his conduct did not seem to affect Fuller in the slightest. Number 1. Tyler Hadley. Tyler Hadley, 17, brutally assaulted his parents Blake and Mary Jo Hadley with a hammer when they were at home, which ultimately led to their untimely deaths. What makes this tragic event even more troubling is the deliberate nature of it. Amazingly, Tyler had thrown a celebration party for friends that night to commemorate this unthinkable deed. Before the murder, he had taken ecstasy, attacked his mother while she was on the internet, and then his father came to help. After that, he cleaned up the debris and hid their bodies in the bedroom. Tyler paid for the party with his parents' credit cards, seemingly indifferent to what he had done. He also disclosed the murders to a few of his friends, following his admission that "I didn't trust him because he had been my best friend for a very long time, and I would never have suspected anything like this." Mikhail Mandel spotted the bodies but decided not to immediately notify the police. Rather, before eventually reporting Tyler, he spent time with him, including taking a selfie. Turning back, I looked inside his parents' bedroom and saw bloodstains on the floor. Tyler has a past filled with drug misuse, criminal activity, and problematic behavior. Thank you for viewing, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel for more fascinating things. Please also provide feedback.